The ADIRs are now aligned and the flight plan has been entered into the MCDU. Let's see the other operations you have to do concerning the navigation system in a normal flight. VOR1 pointer and data are shown on the ND. Display VOR2 data. No, select VOR2 switch. The left side of the ND shows information from receiver 1 and the right side from receiver 2. Notice that a small picture of the associated pointer being used is represented close to the name of the corresponding VOR. As the VOR associated data and pointers are displayed, both receivers consider the VOR signal as valid. On the second line, the VOR identifier appears, here Bravo Tango. On the third line in green, the DME distance in nautical miles. To see the nav aids automatically tuned by the FMGC, we have to call the radio navigation page. Call the radio navigation page. You can see on the radio navigation page that the FMGC has automatically tuned the VOR Bravo Tango on both receivers. Select VOR D key. The VOR DME present in the database are now displayed. We will manually select, as a training example, the VOR DME Mike Echo Lima. The VOR DME identifier MEL has been typed for you in the scratchpad of the MCDU. Insert it by selecting line key right 1. Insert it by clicking on line select key 1 right. Notice the VOR identifier in uppercase on the MCDU, indicating a manual selection. Notice also, as a valid signal is not yet received from VOR MEL, the associated data and pointer are not shown. Note, once the signal is received, the manual selection is confirmed by a tiny underlined M beside the VOR2 data location. Set ILS display on. No, select ILS push-button switch. On the PFD, you can check the ILS identifier, Oscar Lima Echo. In this case, the frequency and the course. The course is also indicated on the ND. The check and the selection of the nav aids are now complete. We will carry on with the settings of the altimeters. We will now set the barometer settings on the EFIS control panel. The current QNH is 1007 hectopascals. Set the correct QNH on the EFIS panel. The new QNH is displayed on the EFIS control panel. On the PFD, the QNH is shown and the altitude indication can be checked. We will now assume that we have taken off. During the climb, at transition altitude, here 4,000 feet QNH, the barometric indication will flash on the PFD. you will have to switch the barometric settings to Standard, STD, by pulling the barometer reference selector. Set Baro Standard. Standard appears on the EFIS control panel. You can also see the standard indication on the PFD in cyan and yellow boxed. Notice also the selected altitude, which has changed to a flight level indication, flight level 130. Let's assume we have performed the same setting on the standby altimeter. As the VOR receiver 2 now receives a valid signal from the VOR MEL, the associated pointer and data are displayed on the ND. As MEL VOR is not equipped with a DME, the DME indication is replaced by green dashes. The indication Navigation Accuracy Upgrade has appeared at the bottom of the ND and in the MCDU scratchpad, meaning that the navigation accuracy level has automatically switched from low to high. We will see now how to make a navigation accuracy check. The objective of the navigation accuracy check is to compare the raw data from the tuned nav aids with the corresponding FM computed data. The SOP recommends to do this periodically in cruise, prior to initiating the descent and when entering a terminal approach area. If your aircraft is equipped with GPS primary, no accuracy check is required as long as GPS primary is available. The GPS mode can be checked on the Progress page. If the GPS is no longer primary, the message GPS primary lost is displayed on the ND and in the MCDU scratchpad. Notice that the navigation accuracy level stays at high. Nevertheless, the navigation accuracy has to be verified. The SOP recommends in such a case to perform the comparison on an hourly basis. This check has to be performed whenever the following cases occur: IRS-only navigation, the progress page displays low accuracy, navigation accuracy downgrade message appears on the MCDU and on the ND. To perform this check, you have to use the selected nav aids and display them on the ND. We have set the ND range to 80. The VOR Sierra Papa Romeo has been manually tuned on receiver 1 and the VOR Papa Alpha Sierra on receiver 2. Note that the VOR Papa Alpha Sierra is the 2 waypoint of the flight plan. There are two ways to do this check. The first method is to compare the 2 waypoint distance and bearing, which is FM computed data, with the corresponding nav aid DME distance and bearing. Call the progress page. The second method is to insert a VOR DME ident in the Bearing Distance To field on the progress page, and to compare the computed bearing distance with the raw data on the ND. We have typed the VOR DME ident SPR in the scratchpad for you. Insert SPR in Bearing Distance field. No. Line select key 4 right. We now have on the progress page the computed bearing and distance to the selected nav aid. The distances shown on the ND and on the progress page can be compared. The last method consists in checking that the raw data needle passes through the blue FMGS generated symbol for the VOR DME, and that the position of this symbol corresponds to the DME distance. Whatever method is used, if the error is less than 3 nautical miles, the check is positive and the FN position is reliable. The SOP recommends to use the ND in ARC or navigation mode and managed lateral guidance. If the error is greater than 3 nautical miles, you can consider that the FM position is not reliable. In such a case, the SOP recommends to use raw data for navigation and to monitor it.